Hey guys, welcome to my channel again. This is Business Mind. Here we talk about business tips and tricks to grow your wealth and get to financial independence. My name is Hector, and if you're into making money, then consider subscribing because you won't want to miss any of the contents on this channel. So, is the real estate market crashing? So if you want to build your wealth and obtain financial independence, chances are that you're looking at the real estate market or the real estate industry, which is most likely the reason why you're watching this video anyways. Then you've got to hear this before you pull the trigger. So according to Zilla's research, the housing market in the US could enter a recession within the next 5 years, and it's most likely to start in 2020, particularly during the first quarter of the year. The main reason, according to the research, is monetary policy. Most central banks have two main objectives: to maintain stable prices and to promote full employment. Central banks use the money supply to meet these objectives. When a central bank changes the money supply, it changes interest rates, and the changes in interest rates impact investment and aggregate demand. So how do they do this? Well, it's all about the dynamics of the economy. Central banks will always try to keep equilibrium in the economy. So whenever the economy is slow, they will try to stimulate the demand by increasing the money supply in the market, usually by printing out more money and lending it out to the federal government, which is usually in the way of buying governmental or government securities. This way, more cash is injected into the economy, which later results in lower interest rates to borrowers, and therefore making cost of borrowing money more affordable for people, which will increase, by result, the expenditure in the economy, whether they use it for investment or they use it for simply buying luxurious electrical vehicles, right? Inversely, if the economy is too hot, or if it is expanding at a rate that is just unsustainable, then the central bank will try to slow it down. How? By decreasing the cash supply into the economy. With that being said, as you guys know, for the last few years, we have been going through one of the longest economic expansions in the country. The second one, to be more precise. Housing appreciation has been consistently going up since the last recession in 2008 and 2011. Particularly during the last couple of years, house appreciation has gone up quite a lot. This has caused many people to say that we are probably in a housing bubble right now, which is a run-up of housing prices fueled usually by demand or speculation. Housing bubbles usually start with an increase in demand in the face of limited supplies, which usually takes quite a bit or relatively extended period of time to replenish and increase. In the meantime, though, speculators enter the market, further driving up demand. At some point, demand decreases or stagnates. At the same time, supply increases, resulting in a sharp drop in prices, and the bubble bursts. Now, there are several signs that indicate that the market might be in a housing bubble. One sign, as already mentioned, is that home prices have escalated. The average family home prices are 32% higher than inflation. That is similar to 2005 when they were 35% overvalued before the 2008 recession. Second, the possibility of another subprime crisis. As you remember, one of the major causes for the 2008 recession was the poorly regulated selling of mortgage-backed securities. Banks sold too many mortgages to poorly qualified borrowers, which later blew up in their faces because people couldn't simply afford paying them back. Well, in March of 2017, William Poole, a senior fellow at the Cato Institute, warned of another subprime crisis. He warned that 35% of Fannie and Freddie's loans require mortgage insurance. That's about the level of 2006. In some ways, these loans are even worse. Fannie and Freddie's lowered the definition of subprime from 660 to 620. The banks are no longer calling borrowers with scores between 620 and 660 subprime. And just so you know, William Poole was the head of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas, who warned about the subprime crisis in 2005. Another concern is the increase on unregulated mortgage brokers. In 2018, they originated 52% of the U.S. mortgages. that it's more than the 48 originated in 2007. 6 of the 10 largest mortgage lenders are not banks. They aren't as regulated as banks. That makes them more vulnerable to collapse if the housing market softens again. Alright, with all that being said, let's go back to Zillow's research. Because according to Zillow, the culprit of this recession will be the monetary policy, which means that the government is intentionally trying to reduce the money supply, which will result in higher interest rates, which will consequently increase the cost of borrowing money, which will decrease the number of buyers in the market. Whew. But remember that this is a calculated move from the central bank, which means that a slowdown in demand is needed to allow supply to catch up and stabilize prices. So there are a variety of opinions out there about this, but I don't personally think that we will face a period of recession as bad as in 2008. Yes, I believe we will indeed enter some kind of recession, but that's just because it doesn't really take much for a recession to take place. According to the National Bureau of Economic Research, it defines an economy recession as a significant decline in economy activities spread across the economy. Lasting more than a few months, normally visible in real GDP, gross domestic product, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale, retail sales, etc. So yes, I think the monetary policy will most likely cause a slowdown in real estate demand and potentially putting the market in a by definition recession. But I don't think it's not a calculated move for a healthier economy in the long run. So I don't personally think that we will go anything beyond that, just because there are so many factors involved in the demand in the real estate market. Just to mention one, the population growth, for instance. This is the measure of the residents in the US. This number is the sum of new residents come from births in excess of deaths, plus the net foreign immigration. So far, this ratio shows that we are in the ballpark of building just the right amount of new housing, single-family homes, plus apartment units. So even if a small increase in interest rates slows down the demand, I don't think it will be enough to keep the bulk of the market from acquiring housing. But as I said before, guys, there's a wide range of opinions in this area, so please let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, if you found this video helpful or informative in any way, please make sure you hit that like button. It's gonna help this channel to grow a lot, especially with this YouTube algorithm thing. It's really hard, so please hit that like button. And of course, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit it, smash it, just tap it. But until then, guys, I will see you in the next one.